As an archetype, Carl Jung would refer to this card as the savior. And if we look at it, you can see a pope like figure with a crown who sits on a throne flanked by two pillars and two subordinates kneel before him. We get a clear sense of the Hierophant's power and that the two subordinates will do whatever the Hierophant wants him to do. He makes the rules. However, unlike the Emperor's card, which gives us the sense of a royal or father figure type of governance, this one gives us a spiritual sense. But this card is not necessarily about religion and spirituality. So hear me out. If we take a step back in time, when church and state were very much connected, spiritual or religious beliefs not just impacted, but governed societal norms and expected behaviors. So, this card represents rules and expectations based on recognized traditions and social norms, coupled with personal choice and walking your own path based on your truth. And to be clear, I'm not talking about doing anything that is antisocial, counterculture, or crazy bananas, but rather it's about the freedom of choice to walk to the beat of your own drum. When I refer to social norms, I'm talking about community expectations. How is the community I live in expecting me to behave in order to fit in and be a part of it? And community isn't just the neighborhood you live in. We are all a part of a vast number of communities, each having its own norms and expectations of behavior. There's the community of people we live with within our house or apartment. The family we are a part of is its own community. Where we work or go to school make up a community, and so on. One of the things to bear in mind when you are pursuing a new goal is that you may be developing certain behaviors and a persona that is not what has been typically expected from you by one or more members of the community in your life. This may result in a bit of friction between you and some of your fellow community members. And it's a good thing to be aware of that this may happen and to keep in mind that if it does, you are not to blame. You're not doing anything wrong, and neither are they. It's a natural reaction to change. Let's have a look at this analogy. Imagine that you're part of a rowing team and you're out on the water. You know these people, you've trained with them, they're your teammates. You all have your own personal reasons for being in the boat, but the common goal you all share is to get to shore. Then all of a sudden, Bob stops rowing and stands up on the boat. The boat immediately begins to rock, and everyone thinks we could tip over. What's he doing? And what's going on here? You and all your teammates are confused and maybe a little scared that the boat will tip. So you're forced to readjust and shift your weight to counterbalance the boat, all because of Bob. And what's he doing anyway? Well, it turns out Bob had a cramp and needed to stand up in order to adjust so he could continue rowing. Not a catastrophe. And sometimes you may find some of your community members might react with a little confusion and be scared when you suddenly stand up and rock the boat. Give them a chance to readjust and counterbalance. This is also the time to start to cultivate and integrate a new community to which your goal is guiding you towards belonging to. Once again, I'm not talking about freezing out a certain community or people, but instead adding another community or group of people to your life that personify the goal that you are working towards. If your goal is a health and fitness one, then get to know people at the gym that you belong to. If it's a business venture, then make friends or take classes with the other entrepreneurs. If it's to have a more positive outlook on life this year, then start socializing with people that give off positive vibes. As well, on this journey, ask yourself if you conform to tradition and a conservative approach to fitting your goal into the recognized structure, or do you break free from this approach and develop your own? Many of our traditional structures did not work as the world went through the changes that the pandemic forced upon us. And as we continue to recover, this may be a welcoming time for outside the box thinking.